Okay, good afternoon, everyone. What is going on? It is a beautiful Wednesday afternoon. The weather is absolutely gorgeous. Going live from not even my car today, got the husband's car. Um, so we got a little bit of an issue developing in Meringue Town, and we're trying to figure it all out. Jason is supposed to be joining us. We are waiting on Jason to come on to get a feel for exactly what is happening, what his side of the story is. This is a bit of a tenancy dispute, and it's really sad because, folks, during a time like this, COVID and the whole nine yards, I think everyone is a little bit more tense about situations. People are just hypersensitive about stuff, and so this is probably not the best time to even get involved in commercial leases if you don't really have to. I mean, everybody's just kind of holding down the fort, if you guys know what I mean. And so this situation has been brewing for a minute. We are waiting on Jason to come on board and to tell us exactly, what has been going on with him. But the gist of the story is Jason is a young Caymanian trying to be an entrepreneur, and he took out a lease for what is commonly known as Meringue Town. Now, as a Georgetowner, I actually grew up right next to Meringue Town. My grandfather um, owned apartments right there up until the time of his death in the early 90s. And so I'm very, very familiar with Boilers Road area, Walkers Road. We're like from central Georgetown here, folks. So Jason recently took over the club and he fixed it up. He has said that he spent a substantial amount of money renovating the club, close to, I think he said, $40,000 or $50,000, and then he's running to some issues, waiting to see what the situation is from his perspective. Apparently today it has now boiling over. So my understanding is Jason is actually at the location now, and he has been locked into the property. So the bottom line is he owes the landlord money. He agrees that he owes the landlord money, but he has said, the way in which he's gone about trying to prevent him from getting access to the premises or trying to even work out a deal with him has been wrong. Her side of the story is, listen, when the police were called last time and they went through all this stuff, she locked the doors. And when you're a landlord, you need to know what you can do from what you can't do. So it's really hard to understand as a landlord that you can rent someone your property, and if they renege on the rent and they don't pay the rent, you have to follow certain steps in order to repossess your property. And I think this is what it boils down to. There seems to be some sort of a question on the part of Jason about whether or not she, being Miss Lucille Barnes, who owns the building Meringue Town, whether or not she has actually gone through the proper steps in order to reclaim her property. If she hasn't done that and she hasn't done it in the correct way, then obviously, that creates a problem. And he is saying that he has rights and she has, not legally done it in the correct manner. We can't be the judge of any of this, folks. We can only tell you what Jason has said, and hopefully he's coming on here shortly, and what she has said. So, it's a dispute. He's saying he's put all this money in there, so he's really fighting to try to stay in the location. The problem, however, is if you're not, and this is just as a business person, right? If you are struggling, and COVID is a tough time, if you're struggling to pay your rent during COVID and you're already behind by $10,000, let's be fair to the landlord here. That's a problem. you know the chances of him being able to catch up, pay pensions and other liabilities, salary, rent, whatever, paying $5,000-$6,000 a month in rent for commercial spot is a lot of money. That's a lot of obligation. So I could see how she would be concerned about the relationship going forward. He should likewise be concerned about the relationship going forward. This is not going to be an easy situation on either party. It is just really, I think, an unfortunate situation, because ultimately both parties have an interest in what is happening. Now, should she allow him back in to come and get his property? Yeah, she needs to give him an opportunity, whatever leasehold improvements. Although legally, when you check most contracts, the owner of the property actually owns the leasehold improvements. Folks, this is why when you get into contractual situations, leases and so on, you've got to be prepared to read the leases and really understand what the leases are saying. And if you do not understand what they're saying, then by all means you get help. So I'm just trying to see, I don't see him here yet, and he's supposed to come on board to join us. But basically, Jason went there today because Lucille had put up a post, and I'll tell you what the post said. It said something to the effect that Meringue Town was now under new management. And that new management was obviously not Jason. He's like, hold on a second. So he went there to try to figure out what's going on. And I think Jason's now joining us. And he has a right to the premise, and she can't do it in the manner in which she's doing it. So Jason is with us. I'm just going to bring Jason. Good morning. Good afternoon. Sorry, Jason. How are you? I know this is not a good situation that you're in at the moment. So just,
Can you hear me?
I was trying to give everybody just a little background of information in terms of what has transpired. So you fill us in. You owe rent. You admit that you owe Miss Lucille rent. That's not a dispute here. Rent is owed, and you're trying to pay it. You're happy to pay it. The last time she called me just this afternoon to basically said, I guess she heard that you'd with me. I don't know how. She said, "Don't come with premise." Sorry.
No, I'm assuming she called you because I told her that I was going to contact you.
Okay, all right. So she said, "Don't come on her premise." Obviously, it is her premise, so I don't want to be breaching I don't want to be trespassing. But you're actually in the bar right now. Is that correct?
Yeah. So what happened is when the police came, because I saw that she posted earlier on Facebook this morning that the bar is up for new management or something, and I that was shocking to me because the bar can't be up for new management when we and her have not had a discussion about terminating our lease or anything. She has assumed that she could have terminated our lease on grounds of what she's saying is non-payment. But what the situation is, if people don't know, is I have renovated Meringue Town completely. I'm in here calculating now, and I'm over 40,000 CI dollars. I'm in here literally right now doing calculations, and I have spent over $40,000. Not to mention, and this is my savings we're talking about, and resigned from my job to run this bar because like any young entrepreneur, aspiring entrepreneur, I felt like this was my thing. I was going to make this work, and only to be scammed later on, 6 months later. So long of the short, short of the long is I renovated the bar. Me and Lucy had a verbal agreement that at some point in time, she would start to discount the rent for certain fixtures like the flooring and whatnot. I've done over the flooring, bathroom, certain fixtures that one that wouldn't want to take back up when leaving or after completing a lease. So in December, we worked, opened the bar, and it's been quite difficult to. Now I say this, and I'm going to say this because I have actual proof of this, and Sandra, I'm sure you can attest to that. It's been quite difficult. My rent here has been $6,000 a month, and I spoke with her about that, after maybe after the second month of being open, I said to her, Miss Lucia, the rent is really, really high for this time and what we're making and whatnot. I said to her, we'll continue to pay until January when things slow down. I mean, things are already slow in Cayman, right? We got COVID going on. So when things are slower in January and February, I said we can start to integrate the deductions of the rental fee based on the renovations. She said, yeah, sure. But in January, nothing came from her. She didn't even say to me, Jason, where's the rent or whatever. I tried to reach out to her and she said to me, she's working on some stuff. And I said, okay. But, she didn't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
In February, this month, all of a sudden now, she sends a message one day saying we owe her $10,000. And I said to her, I said, I know we owe you some money, but I don't think it's $10,000. And I said, don't forget the renovation costs and whatever. She said, if you guys don't give me $10,000 by some date, I don't even remember because it was verbal. She's like, said if you don't give me 10,000, I'm gonna rent out my bar. And I said to her, you can't do that, Miss Lucy, because we still technically have a lease that she's given me nothing in writing, anything. So we came here around the 2nd of February, I think it was. Whatever day it was Wednesday morning, I'm certain, because we had a party Tuesday night and many parties planned for the month. When I came, the place was closed up, chained up, and Miss Lucille is outside behaving irate, saying that she wants $10,000 and she taking her bar and that's it. So I've been trying to contact lawyers and whatnot to try to assist us. And sorry, I think I jumped something. I kept saying why it was so difficult to make the $6,000 a month. Now, let me get back to that before I get to the lawyer thing. Upon opening the bar, I didn't realize anything out of the norm until about the second week. I realized that Miss Lucille has her bar, so it's the liquor store, there's a restaurant, and then there's the bar. I'm leasing the restaurant. I'm leasing the bar. Someone else is leasing the restaurant, and she's running the liquor store. She's running it herself. So I realized about the second week in, after 10, Miss Lucy would still be selling alcohol, and it was like weird to me. I'm like, this isn't right. So I checked out the liquor license, and of course, from Monday to Saturday, she's supposed to be open from 10 in the morning till 10 at night. That would be adhering to the liquor license law. Miss Lucille has been selling alcohol from 10 in the morning to 12 at night, 1 in the morning, whatever time she feels, and open early on Sunday. People come here on Sunday mornings, and mind you, my license is for from 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. Right? So that was directly impacting my sales because people would come here at 10:30 or whatever and just walk into her liquor store and buy bottles of alcohol, single beers, single cigarettes, which is completely illegal. And I spoke to Miss Lucy about this, and I think this is what caused the rift. I spoke to her about this previously without, without anything. I said, Miss Lucy, I think what you're doing is wrong, and it's affecting me from paying you. And she basically blew me off and said, she's not doing anything wrong or whatever. And I said, but Miss Lucy, there are people that come in here all night buying liquor. And how do I now make money when, what will you do if you can go there and buy a beer for $3 when I'm selling it for $5 next door or whatever the price is? It's cheaper at the liquor store. You're going to go to the liquor store, and this is what caused the problem.
Yeah.
So
when you just a question, Jason, in relation to that, right? When you took out the lease, did you think to yourself, a bar next door to a liquor store might be a problem? Like, did you think about that at the time?
To be 100% honest, I thought about it, but I said to myself, a liquor store and a bar are two different things. Yes, you get liquor from both, but you get an experience from a bar. You go into a liquor store and you get your drinks and you're gone. When you go into a bar and the environment that I've created here, you get aura, good customer service. You get free peanuts. You get it's all about the feeling that you get when I go into a liquor store, I just buy stuff and leave. I don't interact. I don't sit down, have conversation. I don't socialize. So I thought maybe, I said that might be a little bit of of a problem for the bar, but nothing major, nothing that would hold us back for what I had planned for here.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, now we're at the point where Miss Lucille has locked the doors. I contacted the police. She's even chained the door. I contacted the police before I did what I did. I contacted the police, and then I got a bolt, and I explained to them the situation. There's a police report on file. The police are well aware, and I explained to them that, hey, I'm locked out of the premises that I'm leasing, and they said, well, that's illegal because Miss Lucy was supposed to provide me with something in writing Firstly, she was supposed to provide me with a written document stating where's the rent, whatever. She didn't do that. There was no warning, no 30-day notice, nothing. And then after that, according to the police, she was supposed to take me to court to get me out of the building. Miss Lucille bypassed those routes,
Right.
locked the bar up. I came and cut the chain because she chained the door. So I cut the chain and nothing happened. The police said, you have all right to. And then I tried my keys in the door, but she had changed the locks. So at that point in time, I could only get to the door beyond the shutters and not inside the bar. So I saw this post on Facebook this morning that she was,
Now, let me ask you one question, because when Miss Lucille called me earlier, Miss Lucille said that the last time this happened, which I'm assuming she means in February when all this started, that the police were contacted and you signed an agreement saying that you would give her $5,000.
Yeah.
And then you would start paying whatever on the arrears.
So listen, let me explain that. And yes, she's right. Me and her did come to an agreement that I would pay her that day for her to reopen the doors, $5,000, $5,000 to reopen the doors, and $500 nightly until the debt is paid off. Now, after I sat down and at that point in time, I was thinking, shoot, anything to get the business back up and running at this point. It was extremely difficult for me to find $5,000 at that point in time to give her right away because she would not let us operate anyway. So, and I said to myself and my business partner, I said, how are we going to come up with $500 a night based on our regular sales? It's next to none to happen. And here would have to be packed wall to wall almost every night to make it. So I knew at that point in time.
So why did you sign the agreement with her though, Jason? Like, why sign an agreement?
Well, I signed an agreement thinking that it was possible. Of course, you would think that it would be possible. But when I tried to get the resources, Sandy, it wasn't there. I couldn't pull blood from stone. You know what I mean? But I was only trying my best to get it back up and running. That was what my initial goal was. Now, with that agreement signed, I also stated to her, once I have the money, I would contact the officer that was there and we would execute the agreement and saying, he could witness that I paid her. I did none of that because I didn't have it. Right. There was no way that I could do that. I couldn't generate any money because the bar was open.
I understand what you're saying. Did you, after not doing any of that, did you then reach out to her and said, Miss Lucille, I know I signed this agreement, but now the numbers, I really can't come up with the $500. And honestly, the $500 a month per night is a stretch for me when I'm looking at how much I'm actually going to be making. I was just trying to do anything to get back into a conversation with her.
Sandy, we did have a conversation. It wasn't specifically how you worded it just now. However, the conversation was, hey, Miss Lucy, I don't have the $5,000, and to make $500 a night over there with you open all hours of the night selling alcohol is going to be next to impossible. So it couldn't work. And then she said, well, find the $10,000 or she's going to rent the place. And I said, you can't do that. I said, I have all my stuff in there. Said, you can't do that. Anyway, so that was not, she knows, she was well aware. I even went to the point, Sandra, to have a lawyer reach out to her. We attempted to reach out to her on Monday of this week to try to come to some amicable agreement. People have
Right.
said to me, Jason, your people have said to me, Jason, you'd be stupid to think that you could pay $6,000 in rent
Mm-hmm.
for a bar during these times, plus
Mm-hmm.
staff, plus other expenses. And I never thought of that. To be fair, I never thought of that. Before, what all I could see and my vision was, I'm gonna own a bar. This will be my first business my first proper business opportunity. I'm gonna try to make it work and be successful. That's all I saw. That's all I saw was the best outcome. So, of course, I was happy to try anything. You know what I mean, to make it work. But after going through it for the first couple of months, I realized, hey, everything that glitters isn't gold, and this is not how it's gonna be. You know what I mean? And it hurts because people don't understand how much I sacrificed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People can come on here and say, "Boy, Jason, he did this. He's stupid, or whatever." Maybe I was stupid for not making that decision. But the only thing I feel like I did wrong here was trusting someone trusting someone, doing business with someone who knew darn well from the beginning that they had unlawful and bad intentions for me. Because this wasn't something easy for me to do. You don't just wake up and say, "Hey, I'm gonna invest 40, 50,000." I thought about this, and I thought this was something that would help me excel and reach other dreams in life. And here I am now,
Mm-hmm.
no job, no, because I resigned from my job, no nothing. I don't know where I'm lost. I'm lost, and that's the problem, and it hurts. And what hurts me the most is I'm a young, honest Caymanian,
Yeah.
young, honest Caymanian, and nobody, people can say anything. I'm a young, honest, hardworking Caymanian, and all I was trying to do was make my life better and create a good, fun environment for everybody else. That's all it was. You know what I mean? And now I'm here with nothing because of
Mm-hmm.
because of because of not an expat, not the government, none of that, because of a fellow Caymanian, uh, not being compassionate, being greedy, acting illegally. And
Mm-hmm.
people on here, and I want people on here to understand. I worked my butt off. If anybody knew what Meringue Town looked like before I got into here, they would understand. The environment, they would understand. One thing I must say is that I opted not to change the name of the bar because, yes, of course, it comes with a stigma. And I felt the stigma would have been broken with the environment that I created inside. I didn't change the name because I wanted to keep that Caymanian legacy. Meringue Town Bar, I've been around forever. And wow, you got to see it now. It's so great. And that's what I was trying to do. Caymanian to Caymanian. That's it. And now I'm here. Now I'm here. The police were called here today. Miss Lucille was packing up the stuff, and it's a good thing the front door was open. So I walked in, and I said to her, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "Well, oh, I'm packing up your stuff because I got rent my bar out." And I said, "But Miss Lucille, we haven't had a discussion. You can't move my things. You can't. We need to deal with this the right way." And the police came on site, and they explained to her she breached she breached the lease agreement, and that Mr. Carter is in full right. And I said to them, well, until I get some help here, until I can get some legal help here or somebody to say, well, let's come to an amicable agreement to try to fix this, I said, I'm not going to move. So I'm here, locked into the bar. And Lucy said, she says, "You know what, then? Well, I got to lock you in the bar." And I said, "That's fine." I said, "That's fine, but I'm not coming out of here because I worked too hard to
Yeah.
lose everything like this or just walk away from it without without standing up for myself." And it hurt. But this is the only option I have at this point to try to get the issue resolved. I don't want to have a standoff with anybody. I just want us to, if we have to end it properly, and every party get what owed and deserved to them. So she walked out and locked up the bar. I'm in the bar. The electricity was on. All of these things have been on during this period of time while the bar was locked. So now I have a $1,600 light bill for premises that I wasn't using because they accumulated, right? And I didn't call CUC and turn it off because I have my alcohol and stuff in there. You turn that off, the stuff goes bad. Internet was running, so everything was running. So today she locked us in. and went out the front door, and the electricity was on. I'm in here sweating now because she went to the main breaker and turned off the electricity that's in my name that I am paying for. She now has turned off because she has access to the breaker. Now, am I completely locked inside? No. But the front the front entrance, I can't get it. The back door, the lock was a bit faulty, so I could get the back door open, and I'll show you guys. I could get the back door open, but she put a padlock on the fence. So this is the back door. It's open, there's a little bit of air again, but there's a padlock that we put on the fence here. We put this padlock on the fence. So for me to actually leave, I would just have to jump the fence. Now, jumping the fence, anything can happen. You can hurt yourself. Me staying in here is not. It's not an act of violence. And me staying here is just me standing up for myself. Because if I go out that door and she gets to lock these doors off again, who knows what I'll come back and see next time. Today I came and saw her packing up my stuff, moving things around. Alcohol is missing. All sorts of stuff is going on here, and I don't have any help. And that's what I want people to know. Everybody kept asking me what's going on with Meringue Town. This is what has been going on with Meringue Town.
Wow. So at the moment, there's some crackling in the. Some people mentioned that, but basically, what you're saying is you went there today after seeing her social media message that the bar was under new management.
Yeah. I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I don't know.
Go there today to teach out, or
she's basically saying, so in my mind, I think that she's come to an agreement with some other party that, hey, you can come and rent my bar. It's you can come and rent the bar, it's fully furnished and all this stuff, but nobody, I don't know who that person is, and for whoever that is, it could be her. People were saying that it might be her trying to take it back over because apparently this is a pattern. I spoke to the old owners, the old leasers, 2 sets of them, and they said this is a constant occurrence. Now I said to myself, if no one stood up and spoke about it, how will it be fixed? You know what I mean? So I'm here today to speak up about it, try to get some assistance, and make sure that I don't cause someone else to go and make the same mistake by taking this over or trying to take this over and to be literally scammed out of their investment, like is what happened to me.
So I think it's probably fair to say that the relationship between you and the landlord has there's probably not much that can be done to repair that.
Let me explain something to you. I've learned there's nothing in the world that cannot be fixed. You know what I mean? No, and I see your reaction, your facial reaction. Now, if me and Miss Lucy were to come to an agreement to work this out, and it was an amicable agreement and something that we could move forward, probably just a platonic business relationship where we're both happy, I would be more than willing, because I don't want to at any point try to have to fight with a fellow Caymanian for anything. Anything at all. But right now, I'm put in a position where I am losing everything that I've worked for. I'm losing. So now I have to I have to try to defend myself. Now I spoke to a couple attorneys, and they're like, you're well and you're right, but I don't have the finances to pay a $5,000 retainer fee. I've already spent $400 for an hour of consultation just Monday gone, and I'm saying to myself, like, this is really ridiculous. You know what I mean? And it's sad. It's sad because I reached out to you today for help because I have no help.
Yeah, Jason. I understand. My apologies. I'm just trying to switch cars here, but I understand your and obviously what is happening. I don't know if I oops, sorry, just hold this. I'm going to grab my other phone. Sorry. It's possible for this to be repaired. I think that's very optimistic of you to think that anything in life can be fixed, but I sometimes
Well,
think things are broken
you know
beyond
what,
repair.
Sandra? You know what? I've been trying to see. There has to be some positivity in every situation. I've been trying to see the
Yeah,
positivity in this
I
situation.
I admire that in you, and I think of that's probably a sign of youthfulness, you know. And as someone who's a little bit older, I know that things can't be fixed, and I can't help it. Maybe this is one of those things, but you're still optimistic that Miss Lucille will see this and change her mind about what's happening.
Well, I would, I, at this point, I don't know if her mind would be changed, but what I'm saying is, I'm always willing to fix a situation that has gone bad if there's space to fix it. But at this point, I don't know if there's anything to, I doubt that there's any space to fix it. But I know that I've invested every penny that I've had in here, and now it's basically being trying to be, bamboozled from me illegally, and I need to stand up for myself. Other people have had the same situation. I went through the same situation. I don't want to be that person. And I don't want another person to be sitting in my shoes in the situation that I'm in today because nothing was done.
Yeah. Another Jason says I must watch the road. Believe it or not, I actually wasn't driving, folks. My husband was driving, but I have just switched cars and I will be driving now, but I am hands free. Just Jason, I want you to keep it to us. Why do you say that her actions have actually cost you? I'm gonna mute my mic here so I can just speak to my husband. Why do you say that her actions next door have impacted your business at the bar? Like you feel like that has had a detrimental effect on your business?
I feel like it's had a major effect on my business because a lot of times after the liquor license operational legal operational hours 10 p.m. alcohol was being sold next door. Alcohol was being sold next door where that if had they been closed, the person whoever pulled up could have gotten the beer, the bottle, whatever from my bar at our cost. And that wasn't the case because Miss Lucia was still selling alcohol all hours of the night. And I know Sandra, you haven't stated this, but I have footage of it, and I'm sure you know that I have legitimate footage and receipts of the. I can't hear you, but you know that I
Sorry.
have.
Yes, I have.
But
I have footage of people going outside of her licensing hours and purchasing liquor at the liquor store.
right.
Which again, that for the police investigate, because certainly that must be breaching some laws, whether it's um, you know DCI enforcement or whatever. And I'm sure her argument is going to be that at the end of the day, that doesn't really help you if you call the police on her and say they sanction her. I don't know what they would do, but that doesn't help your situation. And if she's only selling a bottle of liquor to people in the morning, she's probably going to argue that those are not the type of people that are going to come and sit down at the event.
Well, you don't have to. That's the thing with that. That's the thing with that
If
bar.
that
You don't
liquor
have to.
store wasn't there, you might have those customers.
Right.
Yeah, it's a ticklish situation, and obviously you and I have had a discussion about what my advice would be from one Cayman into the next, and from one business person to the next.
Someone is messaging me. Someone is messaging me. Hold on, Sandra. Someone is messaging me on Facebook, and it's someone is messaging me on Facebook saying, "Jay, give me a call. I want to give you a heads up." And
Someone is saying what? Sorry.
someone is messaging me on Facebook saying they want to. I guess people are watching the show and they're. I had to decline the call because I think people are watching the show and they're saying, I want to give you a heads up. So of course I'm fearful because today when I was in here, comments were made, and yes, I'm fearful for my safety, but people know if anything happens, I'm basically sitting in the bar, and if anyone and physically, it's
So I see a few people
sitting here.
commenting. Now I am
I can't
driving
hear you,
myself.
Sandy.
No, I said some people are commenting.
Hello? I don't think Sandy is driving herself. I can't hear. I'm I'm assuming I should leave because I don't see Sandy and I can't hear anything.
Folks, I think we lost Jason. My apologies. I think we lost Jason there. My phone, these iPhones are so temperamental. It started to overheat. It took me a second to put it against it again. It started to overheat, so I actually the truth of the matter is there was another landlord in Tennessee dispute. And I noticed that someone said earlier that people should an agreement. So Jason is
Okay. Let you know about her dealings.
with the technology we have now. I don't have to be in her
Sandy, are you
property to
back?
have this live stream. Sorry.
You can hear. Am
I
I
was
back?
saying that I don't have to be on her property to have this live stream, and that's purposely why I didn't go there today, because I do not want to have those issues with Miss Lucille. But
There's also Sandy.
how much
Sandy. There's
research
also
did you do into her to find out what kind of landlord, like, landlords have a lot of power, and they're always the ones who are like, oh,
Am I
we
on?
want you to provide references, you give a deposit, you do this, you do that.
You watching?
But it seems to me that tenants also need to be careful of what sort of relationships they are engaging in with a landlord as well. So did you do any
100%.
research?
No. Sandy, let me explain something to you. I knew I remember the incident Miss Lucille had with the residential tenants on your show
Correct.
before. I
Yeah.
remember that. And to be fair, sometimes you should look at I didn't think anything majorly of it. It was
Yeah.
something that didn't register to me. Now, Miss Lucille is someone that I've known of for quite some time because when I went to bury my father in Honduras, Miss Lucy was there. She was a friend of my father's. I remember her putting a cross or something on his grave from Meringue Town. So I always thought, she's a decent individual. Nothing, we never had any issues You know, she was known to my mom. I've always seen her and been pleasant interaction. So I didn't think anything of it. And I said that to her the other day. I said, can you imagine 18, 19 years later, after seeing you at my father's funeral, here you are basically trying to dig my grave financially. So it, I never knew. People have, you know what started to happen? Once I took over the bar and once people saw me renovating the bar, they would say things like, boy, you better watch her, you know. She like to wait till people fix that bar up and then she gonna take it over. And I'm like, I never saw that side. I did not see any of this coming
Yeah.
at all. She was very vigilant. She was always over here. I noticed. I was like, it's quite weird
Yeah.
that she's always here and we're renovating. She was always here taking notice and being like, oh, that looks good, because I always let her know of, here's what I'm gonna do over here, excited to say this is how I'm gonna fix this up. Because at some point in time I would think, that they'd take it back, or, when my investment time period was done or whatever, and move on. And I would thought that we would have developed a great relationship to say, well, Jason turned that bar around, brought people back in. That's what I was looking for, not this situation that we have going now.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely not the situation that we have going now. Nobody understands the pain that I'm going through right now. No, I don't think people understand. And you know what? And really and truly, what really got me to the core is everybody at some point, I think they want to do their own thing, work for themselves, go out and be an entrepreneur, chase a dream. This was basically a dream of mine. Like, I was right there. The bar had started to pick up so well and was doing so well. People were actually coming and like complimenting. They were like, we come in there, the AC is cool, it smells good. The bathroom for the women is extremely good. I even installed these little things, hangers at the bar counter here, these hooks for ladies to hang their handbag. So women would come in there like, wow. So I was basically trying to give a West Bay Road feel to Georgetown locally. So people could feel like, hey, we have an upscale bar in town. It's run by locals, it's a local bar, and you're getting the same treatment, or you're getting better treatment. You're not gonna hear you had any bad experience or whatever. So this is what happened. I'm sitting in here right now, no lights on, in my dream investment, waiting for some form of assistance to have some kind of relief from this, because it's a major injustice. And I don't know if Shane Ebanks is on or whatever, but me and Shane had a conversation before. Well, when the stuff started happening, he said, Jason, he was the previous owner. He said, Jason, I would have warned you had I known that this is you were taking. He said, I would have warned you.
Right.
There's. I complained to him about a water bill that I paid. I've had someone from Water Authority come out. My water bill was like $600 in 1 month, and I'm like, that's like unheard of. So when I get Water Authority to check the pipes around the back, four other units are connected running through the bar. And obviously she knew about this. And I said that to her. So I had them cut them, and I still ended up paying that bill. I had someone cut them. I got someone to cut and tap the pipes, and it still foot the bill for that. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things done here to me. There's an apartment around the back, or I'll show it to you guys, because if people don't believe me. And it's not even really an apartment. It's basically a crack house. Or
I think he lost his connection. We'll wait for him to come back in. Here we go. All right, Jason.
I tried to do something just now.
Yeah, I think he lost the connection.
There's a little place back here that someone was staying in, right? I won't call the name of the person, but someone was staying in that, and it's not somewhere someone should be living at all. There's not even a bathroom in there. Someone was living in there, and the government was paying up, according to the person that was living there, the government was paying Miss Lucy like NAU check to have them stay in there.
Wow.
And I remember a lady came out a white lady came out and saw the conditions and took the person that lived in there out and found them a place to live, a decent place to live. Yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah.
Wow.
So all of this stuff, I have so much messages coming in now on my Facebook. Jason, let me call you and talk to you. Let me warn you about this, that. Guys, at this point, the I'm past the warning stage. You know what I mean? I need help to try to get this situation resolved.
I mean, what are they warning you? Like, what's going to happen? Is she going to do something to you? I don't understand what the warning is.
I don't know. I don't know. People are like, if I go and touch the messages, I think I'm gonna come off. So I'm gonna wait till we get off,
Yeah.
and I can probably comment under it and let you guys know what's been happening or whatever. But it's been a lot. It's been a long road right now, and I just try and get. If we have to end, if we have to end this relationship, I'd like to end this relationship on a good, a good note. Everyone's safe and happy and paid.
Right. So
What, what,
what do you want if the relationship is done and over with, right? Which I think it very well may be. What
yeah.
do you want to come out of it? What would you hope for?
Well, I would hope for reimbursement for my investment, for everything,
Have
for
you
the
looked
injustice.
at your lease, Jason? Does your lease say anything about the leasehold improvements that you've made, or is it silent on those points?
It's silent on those points. It's silent on those points. So basically, but when I spoke to an attorney on Monday, basically what they said to me is Miss Lucy breached the breached the lease when she failed to give us a written warning. And there was nothing. There was nothing. I'm not sitting here lying to you guys. I don't have a need to. You know what I mean? There, I don't gain anything at this point. The only thing I want to is for people to know, people to be warned, and for my situation to be fixed, and for someone not to go to get into the same problem going forward.
Right. It's a tough lesson, Jason.
Someone said that an attorney should be coming out here to visit me around 4:30. So I'm waiting to see how that works. Now, based on what the attorney says, then I'll see if I'm gonna leave the premises. But if not, if I don't have it, I'm just gonna have to stay here. I'm gonna stay in here until we get this sorted because Miss Lucy has been accessing the premises illegally without me here. I haven't even checked my inventory to see what's missing, what's here, what's not. And because she's not, anytime she's supposed to access the place, she's supposed to contact me and say, "Hey, I'm going in" or whatever. That's not done. I came in here and have her on video touching stuff, and I have footage because every time I engage with Miss Lucille, I record because things are said, behaviors are done. I record for physical evidence
Wow.
because
Well,
when you have physical evidence and footage, people can't say he's a liar. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
I know that you have quite a substantial number of videos and physical evidence with different things that I'm claiming in this on this live that you have in your possession. Am I wrong?
No, I've definitely
Yeah.
seen a lot of videos.
Yeah. So
So,
that's it. I It's so funny. I can't see what anyone is saying. Can you hear me? Lost connection again.
um,
Kyle, black screen still has 419 people. What was that? Everyone can see and hear you. Can you guys still hear me? Looks as if we've lost. I think Somebody said she went through a tunnel. I think Sandra's going through the Holland Tunnel or the Kamana Bay Tunnel. I don't know.
No. Zuni wants to know if the renovations, did you involve the cost of the renovations in your lease agreement, yes or no? Because this is the only way you'll be able to win over her. So the arrangement that you were having in terms of the renovations, that was all a verbal agreement?
Right. It was a verbal agreement with witnesses, and Zuni is right. I should have had this stuff written. I should have had this stuff written, but unfortunately, it's we don't have it in writing. But Miss Lucille has stated on numerous occasions that she's. Please make comments on your side. Who's that?
Do you even have WhatsApp messages of that agreement, Jason? Because that would be enough to prove that they listen. A lot of people think that verbal agreements are not valid contracts or agreements. They actually are, from a legal perspective. The problem with verbal
Yeah,
agreements is
yeah, you're
oftentimes
right.
have to rely on
I'm,
other
I'm,
evidence to prove what the
I
parties
can't hear
agreed to.
anything. I can't hear
Um,
anything. Can you guys hear
yeah,
me?
Jason. Yeah, we can hear you. So what I was just saying is a verbal agreement is still a valid contract. And if you have eyewitnesses to the agreement, so say for example
Yeah,
your wife or other
there's
people
two.
knew
There's two
about the
eyewitnesses.
agreement, then
The
that would
person
hold up in a court of law. And I'm wondering if you might not have even had confirmation via WhatsApp that that's what you guys had agreed to.
we
Folks,
don't
I,
we
I
don't.
apologize for eating, but these are the best coconut drops ever. Okay,
Oh
one
my
from
god.
CNB makes these, and they are the best. So my apologies.
Okay.
But
Well,
anyway,
you could probably have to bring some of them by for me tonight while I'm here until this gets sorted.
mm-mm.
um. Yeah. There's been a verbal agreement, and the person who drew up the lease was there to witness, and also my wife, who's my business partner, was there to witness the agreement. Miss Lucille knows. You know, she said it numerous times. She was like, they did plan of work in there, and Sandra, I spent everything I've had, everything, every dollar. When I came into this place, it was deplorable. It was a dilapidated surrounding, and all I saw was an opportunity to make something better and, to chase a dream. That's all. So if I did anything wrong here, the only thing I did wrong was probably investing into the wrong establishment.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bad. Well, we definitely feel your pain, Jason. I'm so sorry that this has happened.
Yeah. And I mean, people have seen. I used to document when I was in here. I would leave work at 5:30 and come here and work till 1, sometimes 2. I would be in here working myself with the workers, just to be involved, to put my finishing touches in. Of course, I didn't do everything, but I helped. I there's I have before and after. People come in here and they're like, wow, Jason here is really, you know, astounding.
Well, Kyle supposed to get yourself a lawyer. So you do have a lawyer that is reaching out, and you're hoping that you can do something in terms of that part of things.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we can get some form of legal assistance to resolve this. You know,
Yeah.
that's where I'm at right now, Sandy. A lot has been lost. A lot has been lost, and I'm still losing as I sit here. I'm still losing right now. You know, and I wanted to come to an agreement with Miss Lucille so we could both win, so we could both make money, so we could both carry on merrily with our days. But obviously, like you said,
Yeah, trust me.
some
So,
things just can't be fixed.
let me tell you, Jason, this really hurts my heart on so many different levels. But if there's a single takeaway, any young person, there's a lot of takeaways from this in terms of contracts and really being careful when you enter into agreements with people. But do your homework, do your research. But where you're at now, I'm telling you that in life, some things can never be fixed.
Yeah.
Sometimes
This is
broken.
definitely, Sandra, this is definitely a hard lesson learned on my part. It is not the end all because I wasn't born I wasn't born to lose like that. You know what I mean? I'm gonna continue fighting. I'm gonna continue to chase my dreams. I'm gonna continue to work hard to create something. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna give up. I've been down that road recently with the feeling to give up, and that's just not in me. And people that know me know that that's not who I am. I refuse to give up. I'd rather you see me die trying than to say I did nothing with my time here.
Right. I agree. You're a fighter.
Yeah,
We come from the same stock, so I understand you
yeah.
completely. Ah, tough times, boy. Tough times. I mean, even during COVID, like so many landlords,
Have
commercial gave people a break rent.
not her. I spoke to her about it when I realized, because people were saying to me, "How are you still paying that amount?" People are still, or the lawyer girl is here to help.
Okay.
People are still saying to me, "How are you paying that amount?" She's talking to us through the fence. Hopefully, Miss Lucy don't come and run her off the property. But there's a little line behind where she owns, where an open lot. So technically, you could stand there and talk to me without being on her property.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's very close. It's very close. There's a
Mm-mm-mm.
lot. There's a lot going on. People are. I see people commenting. I can read after anyone that has any type of assistance that anything that they can do to possibly help me. My number is 927-6797, and I will be at Meringue Town inside the bar right now without lights because she's turned off the breaker. I might try to jump the fence and turn back on the breaker. I don't know, but I don't have any light in here. I have beers in the fridge, all this stuff. There's nothing.
Wow.
Yeah, but I'm
Jason,
not.
we're going to be praying for a resolution to this situation.
Thank you for
Um,
the. Thank you, Sandra, for this opportunity to
mhm.
make people aware of the situation, and so that I could actually say my part. I think that people were just walking around thinking, "Oh, Jason owes Lucille rent," and it's not the situation. And I'm glad that this platform is available for me to clarify exactly what's happening, so people can know exactly what I'm going through and how I'm handling it.
Right. It's sad. I
It's
was just
extremely sad.
with someone yesterday about another situation at Scotiabank, taking someone's car after they had made the effort to contact the bank to say, hey, during COVID, our financial situation isn't the same. I'll be making partial payments. And they had this arrangement, this agreement. And then the car still gets taken at the end. And people are just at a loss, I think, right now.
Listen,
Uh,
right now, Sandra, I'm sure Cayman is. I'm thankful that we're basically COVID free, but
yeah,
with everything that's going on, there's so much stories of people not being able to pay their mortgages. I've gone through a situation with my mortgage that I'm going through right now because of this, and
right.
it's the banks are being, people are losing everything. People are losing everything, and right now, I, 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 I don't. I'm trying to find the right words, and I'm stumbling on my words because I'm so deep in thought and so hurt by the situation. Right now, where I'm at, I don't know where I'll be. I don't know where I'll be 2 months from now, depending on how this works out. You know what I mean? Because, like you
Mm-hmm.
said, we're still in the middle of a pandemic. We're still going through the effects of this pandemic. Some people are being lenient. Some people clearly aren't. Some people just don't care and being greedy. But as a young Caymanian, I would think that, I mean, we come this far with fighting to keep this pandemic out. Now let's fight to keep our people in their homes, in their businesses. Support your local people. That's what this is. You know what I mean? There's very little. Oh, there's expat complaints now. Now we're complaining about each other, but we have to fix that. I mean, we're one. You know what I mean? Like, in my mind, I feel like we're so ununified. Is that a word? Ununified? Yeah, I feel like we're so ununified at
Yeah,
times that it's ridiculous. And I see it day after day, and I'm feeling it right now. You know what I mean? I'm literally feeling it. And people don't understand. It's not easy. You know, it
Right.
wasn't easy for me to take that risk to say, hey, I'm going to resign from my job to run my business. And here I am 3 months later. So if anybody understands it and has a
I mean,
suggestion
I,
of how to fix this
I
or can help, let me know. I'm open for anything.
yeah, and I can sympathize with you, Jason, because I'm also a small business owner, and there's so many things that happen behind the scenes that people don't always appreciate. Thankfully, I've not been in that situation that you're in right now, but um, I had a commercial lease in West Bay for 7 years, and just because of changing times and the economy, even at that time, and how people were utilizing, it was an internet cafe and other things, I made the decision that it was in my best interest to close that location and basically offer my training services on a mobile basis because
Yeah.
everybody had a conference like, oh,
Can
we want
can I
to
ask
come to a conference room. So, sometimes you've got to be flexible in business and be prepared to make hard calls and hard decisions. So I
can I ask
do
you a question?
a lot of what it is that you're going through and what you're saying.
Can I ask you a question? When you went through that situation, and this is not to like be biased or anything, I just want just out of my own curiosity,
Yeah,
were you dealing with an expat or were you dealing with a Caymanian?
they're Caymanians.
They're Caymanians.
Yeah.
Wow. But there was nothing going on, like no pandemic or anything for them. No.
And I gave my lease, my notice within my lease, and I put everything in writing and all that kind of stuff. The interesting thing that happened there is going back to that's why I'm very familiar with the whole leasehold improvements topic, like subtopic of lease agreements, because
Mhm.
when I was leaving, 30 days after I gave my notice, I was starting to do the final stuff, and I had asked the landlord, what do you want me to do with my leasehold improvements? Because I, like you, had spent a lot of money. I went in there was no tile on the floor. I had tile on the floor.
Yeah.
It was a brand new unit, but it had nothing in it. So I had to tile, baseboards, special electrical poles that had to be ordered in, like everything. And so when I said to them during my email given notice, I said, what do you want me to do with my leasehold improvements? They said, put everything back the way that you got it. I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
Well,
30 days, they
that's
came
not
back.
that's
We changed our minds. We want to keep your leasehold improvements. And I was like, but you already told me to put it back. So when
yeah.
I started taking stuff down after that point, they called the police. And because they're white Caymanians, you know how that went. Police
Mhm.
showed up making all sorts of claims. And I said, hold on, police, are you a police officer? If so, why are you reviewing my contract lease with me, telling me what I should do in a contractual relationship?
I
It was
must say
so
I
biased.
I must say the police, for the most part with this situation, have
Mm-hmm.
been quite sympathetic and
Mm-hmm.
helpful when it comes to my part. And I really appreciate them for that because it can be so easy for things to escalate from
Of course.
civil to criminal, and
Exactly.
I and the police have,
And you never want that to happen. Trust me.
you never want that to happen, and the
Yeah.
police have guided me as to, as far as they can, as to what I can and cannot do, and given me suggestions and as what what I'm allowed to do. So like,
Yeah.
as when they were here today, they said, Jason, you're allowed to stay in there, and that's up to you. We can't tell you can't. We're not going to take you out of here, but you're allowed to, and that's your choice, and that's what I'm doing today. I'm just taking a stand. Some people stand out in front of the glass house, or government administration building with signs and different stuff. I'm just sitting inside of a property that I leased for 5 years, waiting for some kind of help, to resolve this situation.
All right, Jason. Thank you so much. Based on the comments, you've got an overwhelming amount of support. People are very, very sympathetic. We're not giving you right for being, late on your lease, but I think everybody can understand the situation, and we hope that it can be worked out in some way or another. At the very least,
Yeah,
you can somehow recover your investment in the property. So please keep us posted because I think a lot of people would be interested to find out, what the end result is here and how all of this ends up happening, right?
yeah.
Duran says,
Thank
free
you for
Meringue
your.
Town.
It would be nice. I would love for us to free it back up. Thank you guys for all your support and all your positive comments. And like I stated before, anybody willing to assist me in any way, I'm here and I'm open for any suggestions. I'll be here until some change has been made.
All right, honey. Good luck.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day.
All right, folks. I need to go into mommy mode. I gotta go pick up my daughter. Um, these situations are tough. Believe me when I tell you, it really, really breaks my heart to see any young person, especially Caymanian, kind of put themselves out there, trying their own thing, trying to be, an entrepreneur, and then they stumble into roadblocks. And let's be honest here, sometimes these roadblocks are of our own making. You know what I'm saying? Not checking out the landlord, signing contracts and agreeing to certain things that you don't include in the written contract, and being unrealistic about even how much it costs to run a business and to open up a business. And they're all life lessons. And the most important thing is you can learn them and walk away relatively unscathed. I mean, Jason has said his situation is a bit tricky because all of this might now impact even his living situation, his mortgage, and so on. But hopefully he can get it sorted out. Miss Lucia might see this and change her mind and be like, okay, Jason, let me drop that $6,000 a month rent. Let me see how I can help you. Let me see what I can do. You know, I don't know what the resolution will be, but we will definitely keep you guys informed. That's what Came On Marwood is all about. We will bring you a resolution. And I wish you guys a safe evening. Please do not forget, we're going to be going live with Samuel Jackson for his meeting this evening. So tune in for that at 7 o'clock, I believe it is, and hear what Sammy has to say about some changes that could benefit young people like Jason and others in the community he's running for the District of West Bay. $6,000 a month, honey. You heard it right. That's what he's paying down in Meringue Town. Wow. Anyway, folks, talk to you soon.